Hello, travelers. Welcome to the Copperfoxinn. I am Thomas the Human Bard. I'm joined by...
Onog the Half-Orc Barbarian.
And we are now 2 classes through the Unearthed Arcana variant class features, adjusting every class in D&D. Now, we're on the episode... Oh, wait, we're doing a side quest. I gotta do that every time.
It's a radiant side quest.
Radiant side quest. This episode, we are talking about the Cleric and the adjustments made to the Cleric in the newest Unearthed Arcana. Onog, what happened to the Cleric?
So the Cleric is one of those classes where it only gets some buffs, and they're kind of just more specific buffs. Like all spellcasters, they get increased spell lists available to them, and like all prepared casters are going to get rolling down the line, they get cantrip versatility, which kind of is counteractive, or not counteractive, but counteracting their ability to always prepare spells every day versus the spell versatility of the bard. So the first thing they get is cantrip versatility, which is whenever you gain a level in this class, you can replace one cantrip you learned from the spellcasting feature with another cantrip from the cleric spell list. So this kind of allows you, as you level up, go, oh, I never used this cantrip. I need a damaging cantrip in case I'm ever disarmed, kind of a thing. I find it very interesting that there's the distinction between spell versatility that we talked about in the Bard episode, that this is only when you level up. Yeah, Bards can change out their cantrips out a long
every
rest.
Day.
Yeah.
Ooh, I hadn't really thought about it when we described it earlier. Yikes, but yeah, actually, that's pretty solid.
Cantrip versatility is a lot weaker, but I think that's kind of balancing out because whereas Bards can change one spell a day, Clerics literally change all of their spells every day.
Their whole spell list every day, yeah if they want to.
And so that kind of balances it out where it's like cantrips are their kind of go-to, and they shouldn't really be changing those out as often as other people are changing their spells. But I just find it interesting that it's kind of an interesting whiplash in the other direction where like clerics used to have more versatility than bards. Now with these rule changes, or these alternative rule changes more accurately, bards now...
Playtest rule changes.
Yeah, bards now have mildly more versatility than clerics in very specific ways.
Yeah, it is. They are both versatile, but in different ways. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, some of the additions to the... Oh, sorry, we haven't officially... In the cleric spell list feature, they get an expanded cleric spell list. Some of these additions kill me that this wasn't already.
Yeah, I didn't know.
It blows my mind.
I didn't know clerics didn't already have Power Word Heal.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense that they didn't already have that.
How did they not have Power Word Heal? That blows my mind.
Who had Power Word Heal if the clerics didn't have it? I think it's the druids had it.
Yeah.
No, wait, druids also didn't have it. Who had the spell?
Let me pull it up. Power Word Heal, 5e spell. Okay.
It's not a Xanathar spell because it would have it next to it.
No, it's a regular spell.
It's a normal spell.
D&D Beyond. Power Word Heal. Typing sounds. Typing ASMR. It's in the player's handbook, so I can't see it. I'm like, dang.
Oh, because you don't have the...
I'm not signed it. Yeah, it's fine. I'll pull it up.
I can pull it up. Hold on, give me a second.
I've got the player's handbook right next to me. I'll just grab it real quick.
It was only bards. Only bards had access to Power Word Heal.
Just bards. Oh man, that is hilarious.
It is a bard exclusive spell outside of this Unearthed Arcana.
Which, like bards are a support. Like they have healing, but they didn't have mass cure wounds. But now
they had Power Word Heal.
But they had Power Word Heal. Oh man, yeah. Some of this is, I think, a little bit of house cleaning. You know, tidying up. Like, wait a minute.
It's very much what Xanathars did with the with their additional spells and with like the implementation of what tools are actually supposed to be used for. Yeah. This is very much a, hey, we're sorry we didn't give you the core feature of your class in spells.
Yep. Whoops, overlooked that. So the other big thing for their spell list is they got some smites.
Yeah, they got a few extra smites. Depending on what cleric like subclass or what domain you had,
You
you
could-
already did
yeah.
get smites. Like
Dipped
I know
into some of
Forge
this.
and War and like the Thunder, like the Storm domains, all got their own like kind of smites and stuff. But this just generically gives, why doesn't a cleric have a smite kind of a thing.
Yeah. There's actually, in both the cleric and paladin adjustments, a little bit more kind of overlap, a little bit of like pushing those together
So
in an
that they are
interesting way.
like, yeah, a little bit more the same thing.
Yeah, not all that separate from each other. Clerics now get smites, and
Paladins
they get,
get some cleric spells.
they get some cleric stuff, which we'll talk about when we get to paladins here. Let's see, what's the next feature on there?
It's basically different things to use their channel divinity for.
Oh yeah.
So at second level, they get Harness Divine Power. You can expend a use of your channel divinity as a bonus action to touch your holy symbol and regain one expended first level spell slot, which is very, especially at earlier levels, that is very useful because you get your channel divinity, you get those on a short rest. So this allows clerics to mildly recover like some of their spells on a short rest.
The classic distinction between like warlocks and other casters, where everyone else wakes up from the short rest like, and warlocks are like, what? Yeah, I got everything back.
Warlocks and fighters get to go, all right, we're ready to go. What's your problem?
Let's do this. Yeah, for sure. At higher levels, do they get additional charges of channel divinity?
Yeah, clerics eventually can get, I think, 3 in the end.
That's pretty spicy.
Yeah.
Do they regain all of those on a short rest?
They regain all of those on a short rest.
So it is only It is
let
only
me
a
double
first
check.
level spell slot.
Yeah, it is only a first level spell slot.
So it's not too.
So the
too
usefulness
crazy.
of this kind of disappears as long as
Wrathful Smite is a first level spell.
Well, that's the thing is like if you're preparing at a certain point though, which is kind of what we talked about in the Bard. Clerics have people who have been prepared casters have the option to now I'm preparing less and less first level spells, but they can reserve those utility first level spells kind of a thing, like detect magic or things like that. And if you're having those as your first level spells, even in late game kind of scenarios, recovering a first level spell slot can be very important kind of a thing.
Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, clerics do get 3. It's like a higher level ability, but they eventually get 3 channel divinities per short rest. Yeah, and it is short rest always. They always recover them on a short rest. And on that note, at 8th level, they get Blessed Strikes in these new rules, which replaces Divine Strike or Potent Spellcasting, which is their own kind of a thing. In battle, you are blessed with Divine Might. When a creature takes damage from one of your spells or a weapon attack, you can also deal 1d8 radiant damage to that creature. Once you deal this damage, you can't use this feature again until the start of your next turn.
Yeah, so like once per turn, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's like you kind of...
But it's just a free D8 anytime you hit with something, essentially.
Yeah, basically. But I'm going to go on a little thing here where it's... Because it replaces...
Divine Striker, Potent Casting.
And I'm trying to find where those are and what those abilities do, because it's important to know.
They should be the 8th level Divine Domain feature.
Okay, so this just makes Divine Domain, like, mildly better.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a little funny. It's one of the few ones that's, like, a subclass option. The only other one that really does that is Rangers, which we'll talk about eventually.
We will get to Rangers.
A while. But yeah, an additional D8 when you hit. So a little bit of light on that subclass when they're hitting people. Not too crazy. A little bit of a maybe like damage boost instead of the potent spellcasting, which was adding your wisdom modifier. A D8 could be better than a wisdom modifier. So a little bit better maybe overall.
Yeah.
For clerics, I don't know. Not the most interesting. A couple things that should have already been the case, like giving them power word heal. And then Harness Divine Power, pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. Like it just gives you more options with what to do with your own resources already.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there is a kind of through line of that as well with a couple of these spellcasting classes either being able to change spells when they couldn't before, or being able to regain spells when they couldn't before. Just giving people more access to the spell lists in general. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. Any other points you want to make about the cleric? Overall, do you think this will change how anyone really plays a cleric?
I mean, there's certainly going to be more smiting going around, kind of a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I kind of like what we were talking about while using the channel divinity to recover spell slots is cool. There is a limitation with what you can do with a first level spell. I would like to maybe see in a more refined version, or maybe like a second try at that ability, where it's like you can sacrifice 2 at a time to recover a second level spell slot, or 3 at a time to recover a third level spell slot. Like that's I think a very fair option that gives more advanced clerics more availability to themselves, because
Sure.
it's like at a very high level that you get 3 channel divinities, but then you're still only recovering like first level spell slots at that point. I think being able to recover just a third level spell slot is useful for that, or gives you even more quote unquote versatility, which I think is what this whole thing is about.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Great. Well, that wraps up Cleric for us. Thanks for listening, travelers. Next episode, we'll be talking about Druids, so stick around for that as the playlist moves on. Give us a like down below. Comment what you think of these changes to the Cleric. And keep on adventuring.